Peace, good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foward Playland. As always, I'm your Foward player. Haven't been able to do videos these past couple days, and it really hurts me when I can't because I don't know. Sometimes life gets in the way, and coming correct or having a good subject to talk about is harder than it seems at times. But shout out to the people that do stream every day and make content every day, even the ones that I don't like and don't like me. In spite of that, it does take a commitment at the very minimum. Anyhow, wanted to make this video regarding another strange death in my personal life. It's nobody I knew on a personal level. I may have met this person in the past, but I really don't recall. Like, I don't want to lie to you guys. But the only reason that it's perked my ears up is because all these strange deaths that have happened in my personal life, like I said, I know from my little crew of people that used to hang out, like 7 people have passed away. And and these are 7 people that are about my age, 6 to 7 people. All around my age threshold, so I'm not like super young, but I'm definitely not old, have passed since the year 2021. You know what I'm saying? So the one that happened today was interesting. It was actually a family member of mine, his friend's wife, or his friend's ex-wife, if you will. But also my age. My family member who this happened to is my exact same age. Like I'm older than him by only a few months. Anyhow, his friend, I don't know his exact age, but I'm going to guess that he's either my age and maybe 1 year older or 1 or 2 years younger than me. I think he's young. He might be younger than me. But the interesting part is the nature of how his baby's mom passed away. From what I was told, and this is very brief, was that she died in her sleep, and that the official report is that she had thrown up or vomited as she slept and choked upon the vomit. Now, any death that happens of anybody around my age group and younger especially is interesting to me because of what we were subjected to a couple years ago and these past couple years. What we could be subjected to here shortly again. I don't want to say it, but what also one of the things that I've thought with a lot of these unexpected deaths, I don't know how to frame this. This is just my conclusion, is that a lot of times I think that they could be written off as something else. Like, for instance, like the nature in which my family members, friends, baby's mom died. What if they just listed it as that? Because even if it was that, that's suspect within itself. I've been shit-faced, like to the point like blackout drunk, and I've been around people that have gotten blackout drunk from the time. My friends were drinking at 11 years old, drunk drinking, not no sneak a few Bud Lights behind the from our dad's fridge. No, I'm talking about going to parties and getting shit faced. Going to the store and being able to buy liquor in my neighborhood. Like, I was able to buy liquor and beer and whatnot as young as I can remember. I wasn't drinking as young as I can remember. I started drinking probably like 11 or 12. But, I hung out with 30, 40 people at a minimum a lot of times on most nights. And, you're talking about that whole group getting drunk, getting blackout drunk, girls getting blackout drunk, girls that would chill with us getting blackout drunk, and never once did one of them bitches throw up in the evening and passed out. I've never heard of many people like that have choked on their throw up as a means of somebody dying, with the exception of like celebrities. And every time a celebrity died in that fashion, i.e., Whitney Houston and her daughter, not that they threw up, but that they drowned in what's reasonable in a conditions that are reasonably easy to escape from. Both Whitney Houston and her daughter, for instance, died in a bathtub. You know, you can't like hop out of a bathtub, even if you're bomb drunk. I mean, you gotta be like on some strong ass fucking, I don't know what kind of drugs, honestly. But nevertheless, I mean, like, drugs weren't mentioned in this instance that happened in my personal life, or a story that happened within my personal life. But still, I mean, I'm gonna make a prediction now that we're gonna see a lot more of those, because I mean, I'm seeing a lot more of those right now in my personal life, as far as people that die suddenly or unexpectedly. If I had to predict, we'll be seeing a ton more. And in addition to that, I mean, like, the elephant in the room. I mean, what's the outside factor that was introduced, within that time frame? And I have a friend now that's going through it medically. I mean, and this friend probably considered me a nut job, and considered people that like that are of the mind state politically as me as nut jobs or sellouts, if you will. Even though, I mean, like, the person knew me my whole life, but that's going through the craziest medical episode that I've seen, and the doctors don't know what it is. Like, they can't give him an answer. So I mean, if that person were to pass out, and I don't wish that upon him, I hope that he recovers and that he lives a long life. But if that person were to pass out suddenly, would I be surprised if the synopsis from the doctor was that he drowned in his sleep? I mean, not one bit. So I mean, like, we're going through some crazy shit. I subscribe to the notion that the last normal year we had on record was 2019, and we're not gonna get back to pre-2019 normalcy unless we go through some real crazy shit. And for the next decade or two, I predict 2 decades of crazy stuff. But do hold on to your seatbelts. I mean, like, we're at the brink of not only World War, the unexpected people passing out, crazy medical episodes that were happening in recent history, mass censorship. But don't look at these things with a negative connotation as far as in your personal life. If I have to give any advice, look at it as like, there's a time like where no matter what, we may get to a society in which truth can't be stopped, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff where you're not allowed to talk about this or that is bullshit. I think you should talk about things candidly. Like, I mean, I'm from New York. We talked about things that would make you pucker, like, all the time. Like, I don't go to the like barber shops no more, and I'm definitely not hanging out in the street that often, like, in New York. But I mean, I don't even see people hanging out outside in New York like that. So I mean, like, it seems like these conversations, like, the venues to have them are limited more and more, and when the ability to talk about things online is hindered, that sucks more than anything, because a lot of people only live online nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, and on top of that too, this is a very crazy time, a dangerous time, politically and medically. So I mean, like, not having the ability to air things out and talk about things candidly is more dangerous than having any sort of conversation of any variety. I don't care if you consider a conversation bigoted or racist or um, quote unquote misinformation. I mean, like the people that were using the misinformation term have been the biggest misinformers in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, bar none. So, like I said, I mean, like, this is a crazy time. I mean, nothing that's employed in that department as far as refraining people from talking or new mandated requirements. None of that stuff's gonna go away with with a whimper. I think they're gonna go away begrudgingly. I think they're gonna go away with a bang. Expect more, if you will. But hopefully, I mean, like I'll be able. I'm not saying that I'm the person to look to as the only source of accurate information. But I do want to give a different perspective. If you think I'm bullshitting, I mean that's fantastic. If you think I'm telling the truth, great. Don't go off what I'm telling you. Definitely research. I mean, like on your own. Consider everybody to be lying to you, and you'll be better off. But we're in for some crazy. We're living through some crazy stuff. I mean, maybe the TV and social media aren't telling you that things are nuts, but we are living through some epic times at the moment. But I'm gonna be frank. I've never been happier than I am now. I mean, honestly, and I've lived through some bitching times. I mean, like I've gone out most weeks. To the clubs almost every week. From 18 till a couple years ago. I mean, I went out like the last week of lockdowns in March. I believe March 7th in 2020, or March 6th, 2020. Whatever the Saturday was of 2020 of March, first week of March, I went out that last week, and then the following week or the week after that was when they employed the lockdowns in New York City. And I went to a club. It wasn't like I went to a bar. I've been to bars and shit and lounges with my lady and whatnot, restaurants since then. But the last week in which, if you were in the club with a mask on, like you'd be looked at like a nut job. And I went out tons of times before that. Like I've lived a full life, if you will. Like a very, not gonna say fulfilling. Like I feel more fulfilled now in my later years than I did when I was young. But I've never felt such. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not saying I'm overjoyed and stuff like that. One part of it is that I'm still alive, like because as a young man, I never thought I'd make it to where I'm at now, like. And more so like alive, not because of material shit and whatnot. But I've never felt such a feeling of, I don't know, like bonding with my family. Like to have true friends like I do now. I had a ton of friends when I was young. I'm not saying that I have that, like a lot of the people that I was, that I'm not friends with any longer are my enemies. No. But I just felt like I was able to cut through the curd in a sense, like now, like in the last couple years. I got to see like a lot of people that in a sense got broken down by all this, and you love to lend a helping hand to as many as you could, but I don't think that the times even call for that, like especially if things do get rougher. I don't know. And for instance, like I can't go about overexerting myself and trying to pull people out of a rut in a sense. Because when this thing first went down, like through the toilet paper episodes, which happened like late March, late April 2020, I was going about like I'll go into that in another episode, like because it's too much to cover. I'll just say it real quick, but I'm gonna touch on this in the future too. But in late March 2020, and early April and May and whatnot, 2020, real quick. But the weekend that I went out to the clubs in March 2020, I went out like that weekend, and that weekend I just got back from California. Like I had went to Monterey, California. Um, I took my son with me, my wife. We had a great time. Um, we stood in Pacific Grove. Dope ass time. It was great. Like it's not the first time I went there, but it was the first time I went with my son. But and then I went out the following day, like upon arriving back to New York. The following night, I went back. I went out and I saw a DJ Wild. He's a French DJ. And that's the reason I went out in New York. But like one night later or 2 nights later, I was dead sick. Like and I knew for sure that I caught the bug. Like the thing that everybody was worried about. I knew for sure. Like I was more sick than I had ever been like in my life. Like as far as like a flu goes and whatnot. All right, so bet. And I lost like I think it was like 18 pounds in one weekend. Like I was throwing up, pissing through my ass, you name it. In the midst of that though is when you first started hearing about toilet paper shortage like in New York, and like once I felt a little bit better, which was like if I got sick like Sunday, I think I felt like with enough strength to go buy groceries that Thursday, because I remember my neighbor was coming back with a bunch of groceries like a couple days before that, and my wife had to go grocery shopping. My wife doesn't drive, and she was saying how hectic it was, all this crazy shit. So, but I knew like even though I was laid up in bed, that once I got better, I had to go on a mission, go to 24-hour stores, like and look for water. And when I started going out, I mean like I was going to many stores and not finding water altogether, but not finding toilet paper. Like I was buying like paper towels, shit like that. I probably had a little bit of toilet paper here. I wasn't worried about that. I was more worried about water. But and like groceries, like stuff, like I wasn't finding much in the way of groceries either. Like here in my town, in the town next to ours, and the other town in the other direction next to ours. Like I'd go and I'd find like Nutri-Grain bars, um, like Gatorade, like electrolyte, like shitty water, like overpriced stuff. Like I was buying all this stuff, like for the most part. And I'm somebody who always keeps a decent amount of stock. But once I was able to buy like a decent amount, I started then giving it to certain people like in New York, like and I don't live in New York anymore. I started giving it to a family member around here, some stuff, and then and I was buying stuff at the corner stores, even like overpriced stuff. Like the corner stores, they don't give you great deals like the supermarkets do. But I started giving it to other people, like in New York. And to go to New York from my house, even though it takes like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, but it costs like in tolls and whatnot, like $38. It's not a cheap trip. So, I bringing stuff to my mom, bringing stuff to like one of my wife's friends, bringing stuff to my niece. But then like, I started getting gassed by all that too, like worn out. Like I'm like shit, like if I'm hunting for it and I work in addition to, and I was working in addition to doing all the other shit that I have going on, I just thought to myself, it'd be really hard to like continually do this stuff, like like to continue to look out for a ton of other people, like like especially if they don't have that urgency like I did then. But I'm taking that lesson into 2023 and beyond. Like you could only do so much, um, because even looking out for yourself is tough, especially if things get tougher. It's not like go shit on the next man and whatnot. No, I'm not employing that, or it is what it is. No, I'm saying that for somebody who I have a lot of resolve. I think, I'm not gonna hype myself up and make myself seem like, I've seen many people with more resolve than me. I've seen people that are tougher than me, but I'm a tough motherfucker. Like, um, I've seen people more committed than I am, but I do show a commitment to the things that I love or the people I love. But um, I don't know, like, and that was a tough time to a degree, but I think that things could get way tougher, and I do see things getting way tougher because that little food shopping thing expedition that I just told you guys about was when I could buy 3 packs of water, Poland Spring waters, for $8 when they were on sale. But if it wasn't on sale, they were 3 for $10. Now, if it's on sale, it's 3 for $12. When a can of beans was 50 cents. Now, if the can of beans is on sale, it's 89 cents. So I can't afford doing that stuff now. But I mean, like, if it was 2020 version of me, let's say, I would have done it no matter what, and like not have the ability to do it for myself twice in 1 week. So I mean, and it's not like any of these people like, and not that I needed like a pat in the back or anything, but it wasn't like any of these people even remembered me doing that for them. I see that a lot too. That a lot of people, you look out for them. Not that I'm not butthurt, but that that times will get tougher, and that I don't expect and or want a handout or help. I want to be in a position where times will get tough, and I want everybody who's listening to this. I want you to be in a position as well in which, no matter what the devil may throw at you and what the world may throw at you, that you're just ready for it. And I'm not there all the way, but I mean I'm very close. I mean, you could always get more prepared, but I think that I'm teaching my son to get more prepared. I think I'm teaching myself like what it is to get more prepared. And this is coming from somebody who is more vain than most people. I was more vain than your favorite rapper. But here I am today. Doing a video update from my bathroom in regards to strange deaths. But life is funny, and life will get funnier. It's a blue moon. I hope you guys got to experience it yesterday. It was really pretty, like where I live now. I think that the moon is still looking ill right now. Let me see if you guys can even see it from my. Yeah, look at it. My windows are dusty looking. Actually, that's paint. But new moon and a full moon is up in the air. It's beautiful weather out here too, 57 degrees, and scary times, but I'm having the time of my life. But with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna try to come back on tomorrow. I'm gonna have guests in the next couple days too, or I gotta get ready for guests to come through. So I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and with that, peace.